to the Cash Flow Show with Dave and Nate, the best place to navigate how to achieve capital appreciation with commercial acquisitions. Here's your hosts, Dave Seymour and Nathan Amaral.
I still like the beat of that intro, don't you? I like it. I listen.
That's a great beat.
I listen to it every once in a while. What's up, Dave? How's it going?
What's up, Nate Dog? I'm well, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's hot, and all the air condition went down in this building, except my office, because we have mini splits.
Plus the good Lord shines down on the worthy. That's
right?
What it is.
Yeah, so everyone's in the building like, oh, and I'm like, no, it's nice in here. I'm not getting out.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. The coffee shop underneath me, their air conditioning crapped out.
Oh.
And they got the back door open. There's like a little leak. I sneak in through the kitchen in the back of this coffee shop.
Yeah.
So I don't have to go around the building if I want to get a cup of Joe. Like I know the guy, you know what
I mean? Yeah. You're sitting in the kitchen.
So,
You're sitting in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm in the kitchen, hanging out with the kitchen people. But, sitting down, as I walked through there this morning, there's drips down on my head, and he's like, air conditioning's broken. I'm like, oh, that's bad, man. Just give me my coffee. I'm out of here. I got stuff to do.
You still take it the same way, by the way? You still take your coffee the same way? The black with the little bit of cream and the 2 sugars or something like that?
No. We progressed out of the little bit. That's funny.
Oh, you remember my coffee? I remember. I used to have to go get it all the time.
Yeah. No, I'm straight. What do I drink now? I drink cold brew with a shot of espresso.
Okay.
Black.
Okay.
Black is beautiful. That's the way I like my coffee.
There you go.
It's all good.
That's nice.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
You've upgraded.
For sure. I have. Yeah. Trying to get my body all svelte again. Did I tell you about my workout machine? I told you I got the rower.
Yeah.
Right?
How's it going though? You told me that it's on its way and it's coming in.
Oh, it's in 7 pounds in 1 week, baby.
You're rowing already? Look at you.
Rolling. I'm a rower. It's really cool. They got the it's called Hydro.
Okay.
And I think I told you it's like the Peloton of rowing machines.
Right.
So when you put in your height and your weight,
yeah.
Mine actually said eat a salad when I put in my weight.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I was gonna say that'd be crazy. You need more salad.
Yeah, eat more salad.
Yeah.
Low fat dress. It's a really good idea. No, you put in your height and your weight.
Okay.
And I think what they do is that they've then got an algorithm for height, weight, and age.
Okay.
To have a routine. So I get up early in the morning. The machine looks at me. I look at the machine. The machine looks at me again. I look back at the machine. So I'm going to ride you hard today, and I get on that thing and and then it's got a video. It's got a video, and you get to row the 2 plays. It's a screen right in front of you.
Yeah, it's a screen. So is it? Does it like tap in like to live people rowing, or is it just a video?
Yeah, it can.
Okay.
You can either go tap in with some live rowers.
Okay.
Or you can do the workouts that are pre-recorded that they've already put in there for you, and you do splits and sprints and longer races and stuff,
man.
And you're rowing right with the dude, like he's right in front of you, and you keep pace with the guy or the girl while they're rowing.
Right,
they do it in 2 places. They do one in Miami in the canals in Florida.
Oh,
they
wow.
film down there.
Wow.
And the other ones they film up here on the Charles.
On the
River.
Charles, eh? Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So I was rowing on the Charles this morning at 5:30, old boy.
Oh my goodness, inside your house. Inside your house.
In my house.
Yeah.
Geez, here's what you got to picture next, though.
Yeah.
Like Dad's big, fat, and sweaty, right? Rowing like a very bad posture, just grinding it out like a monster.
Yeah.
And then down from upstairs comes the little feet, right?
Yeah.
And the little face looks around the corner, and he's like, "Go get him, Dad. You're crushing it."
Well,
good job.
Good job, Dad. Well, if you row it too hard, you might row yourself to death.
I did. I actually fell off the thing.
I was trying to do a joke, a death row. A death row.
Yeah, that's why I tell the jokes.
And I do. I laugh at my own jokes.
Take yourself. It's good. No, I fell off the thing like day 2. I was using it. I pulled too hard and my ass slipped off the seat, but my feet were still in the pedals and I'm on the floor like an upside down bug. You know what I mean? Like a beetle on his back.
Oh, goodness.
Anyway, whatever. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good.
Do your thing.
I'm going to do my thing. Hey everybody, welcome to the Cash Flow Show. This is Nathan, and we are your hosts, Dave Seymour and Nathan Amaral. Welcome, and today we got some fun topics, but thanks for being here. And also, if you're new here, please let us know in the comments below. If you've been watching, which Dave, our fan base is just growing and growing, like the virus. If you're new here, let us know in the comments. Or you just want to say hello in the comments as well. We'd like to say hello back to you. And speaking of the coronavirus and growth everywhere, I am seeing a lot of crazy stuff happen in the news, in the media over there in the States. Not only do you have the coronavirus growing, but you have riots and looting again. What's up? What's going on?
Yeah. Look, man, it's crazy. There was a black guy was jumped into a domestic dispute, and
oh man,
he got shot 7 times apparently by the cops. Their argument was he was going in the car for a knife. The community's argument is more of the same, and it's a shitty debate to get into, man. It's just a crappy time. Out in Oregon, in the more liberal states, that they're still out there on the streets.
Well, they're still protesting, right?
Yeah, and then it sparked more protests. I think it's it's not in Minnesota,
Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin, thank you. And then the newest event is in Wisconsin, and I'm not gonna do that out in a social arena like this. Yeah. My own take, Nathan.
Yeah.
Everybody's life matters.
Right.
If injustices are unjust, let's prosecute them. Let's be decent human beings about it. We have a right to protest in our country. Mm-hmm. We have a right to protest peacefully. We do not have a right to protest with violence.
Right.
It's just straight up.
Yeah.
So that's my take on that. But yeah, it's a little crazy, brother.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy right now.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? It's like everything else. I like to control what I can control and realize what I can.
Yeah.
Right. Work in my little world.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you something that is kind of cool. I was talking to one of the advisory board members on our firm, on our company, Freedom Venture.
Okay.
His name is Ari Smith, and Ari Smith is.
Why does that sound so familiar?
I might have mentioned him to you. He's with Riverside.
Okay.
Riverside is a title company and 1031 exchange company.
All right.
New York and New Jersey.
Okay.
And Ari is of the Jewish faith, and practicing people of faith, and he's such a hot ticket. I'm like, Ari, what do you think we could do? What can we do to share what we do with more accredited investors, et cetera, et cetera? And he said, my boss owns a steakhouse on Wall Street. It's called the Wall Street Grill. Really nice high-end steakhouse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can we go eat there yet? Is it open, Ari? He goes, I think we can. Let's find out. So we find out it's got rooftop dining, and Ari and I start talking about bringing in some of his network and some of his accredited friends who love to invest in commercial real estate.
Okay.
Anyway, we're not going to do the rooftop thing because of the fact that the demographic that we deal with is primarily like 50 to 70 years old.
Okay.
That age group, is maybe a little more cautious around the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
He said, but let me ask you a question, he said. I said, ask me a question, Ari. He said, are you of the same mindset as I am, that money is just money? And what he meant by that is, it's very clinical. Here's money. Thank you. I put your money in real estate. You're welcome. I then give you back your money. Thank you. Plus some more money. It's very clinical.
Right.
It's clinical.
Yeah.
And Ari was explaining to me, and he said, in his career, he's like connected people, and they say, no, I don't want to do the deal. And I was like, what do you mean to not do the deal? You're crazy. Do the deal. The returns are fantastic. Nah, I just got this feeling about the guy.
Okay. And
I'm like, what? That's interesting. Just because I know I have, the golden ticket to the Willy Wonka factory, it doesn't mean that everybody, right? Everybody wants to go to the Willy Wonka factory with me.
True.
I said to him, I said, well, what do you think? He said, look, man, it's also been very important, he has found, that a firm or a culture or a company not only gives great returns on investments, but it has some mission to it.
Has
It has some
yeah.
purpose.
True, right.
And he said to me, he said, what inspires you in the philanthropic world? And it was amazing to me because I came from a place, as you know, right? The definition of humility is you do something for somebody else and you keep your mouth shut, right? You don't go out and wave your hands around and say, hey, look how cool I am. Look
Here's
what
my
I did.
donation. Here's here's what I'm doing.
That's just ego stuff.
Right,
That's
right.
ego driven.
Right.
So I've always been involved in certain things at a personal level.
Yeah.
But Ari said to me, what would you do in a more vocal place?
Well, yeah,
And
public.
I said, well, that's an easy question for me. There's an organization that is called Tunnels to Towers. Tunnels to Towers was founded by a gentleman by the name of Frank Siller. His son, Stephen Siller, was a firefighter in New York City on 9/11. His son had just finished his shift and had gone either back to New Jersey or across the river. And he saw the second plane hit and got his gear, got back in the car and started driving back to the city to go to work with his brothers. When he got to the tunnels, they were all shut down and he couldn't get through the tunnel to get back to the firehouse. So he grabbed his gear, he threw it over his shoulder and he ran through the tunnels. He ran through the tunnels, connected with his crew, and he never made it home that day.
Oh, jeez.
So the Tunnels to Towers Foundation is it's very personal to me for obvious reasons with my firefighting background.
Yeah.
And the organization today is also helping veterans. And they build houses for veterans and houses for, people of service, cops, firefighters. They build them homes, and the homes are then mortgage free. And Ari and I kind of like shed a little tear together. And I said, look, man, I said, here's what's interesting. My partner, my second fund manager, Walter Novicki, is also ex-military. He was a special forces military and did some pretty aggressive career in the Middle East. And there isn't a better organization that represents the coming together of the military and the fire service to be able to do that. So we agreed that was the organization. And it's funny, that TV show, man, what a blessing, what a curse.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was a blessing.
Yeah.
Because within 20 minutes I'm on the phone with Stephen Siller's father, Frank, and telling him that I want to market, advertise, use the flip in Boston, beat him, slap him around, put him anywhere and everywhere you want, brother, so that we can continue the growth of the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. Yeah. And it was funny. You can't get a guy like that on the phone. And the message went through that Dave from Flip in Boston was trying to get a hold of him, and he called me directly on my phone. I felt like oh my God.
Oh, fanboy.
How you doing? He goes, Flip in Boston. I love that show. I'm like, appreciate it. And it's nice that opens up some doors. So. Yeah, it was an interesting day yesterday, man. I know that was kind of a long-winded story.
No, that's actually really good. And I remember this reminds me and just reconfirms. I remember in our earlier days when we started working together. You still I remember your pitch deck, man, and your presentation deck that you always talked about, 9/11 and the firefighters that went in. Your story about it moved so many people, and This is a great story, by the way. I have the website pulled up and everything, tunnel2towers.org, and it is. I can just see how that aligns with what you have experienced, what you've been through, and I could see that how it matters to the organization. Yeah, that's really powerful stuff.
It aligns with our investors too,
right?
Because that age group, that demographic. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see, where it goes with those guys.
That's awesome.
And if it goes nowhere on the marketing side, that's great. But we're going to definitely be contributing. And I
Yeah.
said to Walter on our partners call this morning, as soon as our business model has the depth of asset to be able to build one of those houses for a returning vet, I said we're on it.
That's awesome.
And Walter he gets a little emotional too.
Yeah.
He's soft as I am. So yeah, it was good. It was a good day yesterday for sure.
That's
How
awesome.
are you? What you got going on? I heard
Good.
some banging over there.
Yeah, well, there's construction here. Yeah, so actually, I mean, this is not my business, but actually, it's my good friend's business, and I rent from my private office from him. And I've actually been actively trying to find solutions and ways. He's not very good at marketing, so I've been getting people here. It just happened by accident. It wasn't like it was planned, but that's what's been happening. And he's building now, I think 5 or 6 new private offices just outside of this wall here.
Nice.
which has been good. On the apartment front, I just got accepted 10 units accepted last Friday, let's say Monday. So just adding that to the portfolio, and it's
Nice.
it's a unique property in a unique area. Demand is there. Definitely a market ad. But yeah, I got that going on. Other than that, I got a barbecue tomorrow. That's gonna be fun. So,
Barbecues are always fun.
wait. Out of all the years that I've been coming here and living here, on Monday I'm going whale watching for the first time.
Really? What's her name? That was totally inappropriate, wasn't it? That was so bad. I can't. See, I don't have a filter.
Well, no,
Nathan.
what people need to know is your background in comedy. I mean, that's the appreciation part about you. If you like stand-up comedy, then they can understand where you come from, because that's your comedian coming out.
I'm just an idiot sometimes.
No,
If I offended anybody, I don't care. Thank you. So you go whale watching. What kind of whales do you get off of the Azores? Like pinky whales or
That's a great question.
what do you get? Killer whales?
That's a great
what kind
question.
of whales?
I'd love to see some Free Willy stuff, but I'll tell you what. What?
Free what?
Free Willy. You remember the Free Willy whale?
Oh, this.
Just be
This
like,
is outhill.
oh, go on,
Free
Willy.
Willy. Free Willy means something totally different when you grow up with little boys in the house. I just want to let you know. It's totally different.
Totally
Okay.
different conversation. Yeah.
So you're gonna go do the whale thing.
I'm gonna
That's
go
cool.
do the whale thing. Yeah, whales and dolphins. They said they're guaranteed to see them, and if you don't see them, you get your money back. I was like, wow, what an offer!
What?
That is an
Really?
offer. Yeah. So I was like,
Really?
that's cool. I was like, well, buddy, I'll take you up on your offer.
Dolphins are smart, brother.
Actually, what really got me to book with this guy was his story. He was actually an immigrant to the United States, went to New York, settled in Connecticut. He actually used to fish in New Bedford growing up. He did scallops. He did whale. Yeah, he did a bunch of stuff. And then he ended up coming back here. He bought a boat, built a bigger boat, did some more fishing, and anyway, it's gonna be fun. I hope. So it'll be good.
Yeah. When are you going?
Monday, and
You get seasick?
I don't get sick, but I'm gonna be scared. I do not like whales. I don't like dark water, and I don't like boats that much. And being
You
that
going
far out.
in the water or in the boat?
No, in the boat, but out in the water, like out in the ocean.
Oh, you'll be all right. Yeah, they got like life jackets and shit out
Yeah,
there.
but when you're in the water with the whale, if you go in the water,
you're going in the water.
no,
with
what
the
if the
whale.
boat sinks and then you're in the water with the whales?
Why is the boat gonna sink?
I don't know. Boats sink, planes drop. I mean, it happens, right?
You are all right. You ain't right in the head.
Hey, you
enjoy
don't.
it,
Maybe you
all
don't
right?
know. No, but seriously, no. In a serious note, I actually fear dock water. I do. I do not like dock water at all. So it's
Really?
Yeah, it's gonna be a challenge. That's why I love flying. Fly over it. No, but
Yeah.
I do
don't know,
not
man.
like
Just take a
dock water.
deep breath. Come on now. You'll be all right.
I'll be
Can you
okay.
swim?
Yeah, I can swim.
You'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Do you want to look at an apartment? You want to do a case study?
I do want to do a case study. I do.
How was that for a segue
That
from
is
dark water
that's
to a case study? Horrible.
This will take my mind right off of it. Yeah, well, this has actually come up quite a bit, Dave. Not everybody, but we have a lot of people asking, Dave, I want to be a part of the fund. How do I invest? But also, what am I investing in? Can you show me what I'm investing in? So I think this would be a great time to show and tell.
Yeah.
Some of the properties that you're working on. Okay, there it is. Okay, yeah, there we go.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
we got one
this
here.
is, look, for folks that invest with us, if I showed you this building in a syndicated arena, it's a lot more visual as to an investor saying, okay, I own a piece of this, this plastered building with a Spanish tile roof. Okay, great, they get it. But when it comes to the fund structure like we have, it's multiple properties, and they can't always wrap their head around, their money or their capital being parked on a particular asset
Right.
instead of owning a piece of the company, which owns all the assets.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's one of the challenges. So that's why I like to show sticks and bricks. And the second part of it is that this is the absolute blueprint, if you will, for what we buy.
Okay.
This is, we deviate rarely from our buy box. There are extenuating circumstances, but with, over, combined 40 plus years of experience, we're confident and comfortable in making some adjustments to our bigger picture. But this is a property that is not in the fund. So I got to do the full disclosure and Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yep.
This is a past building. I say we, Walter and his company took this one down. But this is a property that was purchased in April of this year.
Okay.
No, January of this year, this one was taken down. So I'll run you through the numbers on it, and you'll get for what it is that we do. So this property, I'm not going to give you the address, but these are the pictures of the asset.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is a 40 unit. So first of all, it ticks our box of a lower unit unit count.
Mm-hmm.
It was completed in 2008. Now everybody raise your hand and say I know in the chat if you know what happened in 2008.
Put your comments in there. What happened in 2008?
What happened in 2008, right? The crap hit the fan. So this was new construction in 2008. The builder, his goal was to build it and sell it. And because the market did what it did in 2008, he ran out of options. He couldn't sell it because of the market correction. So what he did was he decided to keep it and manage it himself.
Okay.
So that's what ticks the second box for us, right? Mom and pop management.
Yeah.
So the rents in this property when we looked at it in January of this year, the rents had not been increased since its completion. So you've got a 12-year rent increase that had not been addressed at any point. The occupancy had dropped to 75%.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives us what we class to be 25% of free real estate. Because on the analysis of numbers, you only buy based on its current cash flow. What is it doing today? And the market cap rate, I think it was around a 6.5. The market cap rate on the buy side qualified this building to be purchased at $3 million and change, as you can see there.
Yeah.
So that was in January of 2020. This property was taken down.
Mm-hmm.
It was a syndicated asset. $3 million was the acquisition. So some of the challenges were the fact that there had been a lot of deferred maintenance. The place had pretty much been run down. And as a result of it being run down, you can increase rents. And at the same time, your tenants aren't necessarily keen on paying their rent, even if they could.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Right.
The swimming pool needed some work done to it. And there was an elevator that hadn't been operable for over 10 years as well.
Jeez.
So these are all scores for us when we see that. So that was the repositioning, was to be able to get the current management off of the property.
Okay.
Do some repositioning on the tenant base, and do the repairs that were needed.
Mm-hmm.
So the units were improved, fixtures, flooring, cabinetry.
Yeah.
So the numbers on it are a $3 million acquisition, then a $400,000 capex. So that capital is raised, and then that capital goes to work. New management installed, vacancies filled. The building, as of today, is 100% occupied.
That's great.
That's
great.
And that shows an increase in the NOI, right? The net operating income of $82,000. right? So with an 82,000 increase in the NOI, we all know the cap rate calculations, right? So based on the current market cap rate is 6.5%. The new valuation of the property as it sits today is 4.5 million.
That's over $1 million of
Yeah, 6 or 8 months.
yeah.
Yeah, it's 1.5 mil increased in valuation over that period of time. And because the work was done, the tenants that were there were ecstatic to see the repairs being done.
For sure, yeah.
And when the rent increases came in, then there wasn't much pushback, if any, with regard to increasing the rents. There was also parking spaces there for them, and as you can see in the pictures at the bottom here, it's almost an A-class type asset.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna give it like a B plus. I mean, it looks
B plus or an A minus.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, real nice facility.
Was the pool operational when you acquired, or?
It was garbage.
Okay.
It worked, but it wasn't. Nobody was swimming in it.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing to remember with that, as you can see in the last sentence at the same time, is that it's still paying off a 13% cash on cash return to the investors right through that process as well. So, an investor comes in there, they're now participating in a 1.5 million upside in equity, as well as a 13% cash on cash return. So that's a very nice little deal right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It covers all of the challenges and all of the the necessary opportunities for us going forward. So
in a property, thank you for sharing that. In a property like this, right? So let's walk through it just a little bit, start to finish. Like someone would see this property, because we have people asking questions like, I remember last week we had people saying, well, Dave, I want to start investing in this with you, and how do I do that? So in this scenario, would you show them a case study before, like not a case study, but a property before or after? Like, what point does that happen for them?
That's a great question. What we're finding is the first money in is the hardest money in. What we've been able to do is instead of what is called a capitalization number, we've dialed back the capitalization number, because we don't want any of these deals going away.
Yeah.
So we don't present necessarily deals to the investors, Nathan, to show them what's in the fund until we actually have it under agreement and in the fund. We do have three, maybe 4 right now that we're ready to go on. We're just waiting for the commitments to come through the self-directed retirement accounts. But we anticipate that coming in the next couple of weeks. So the marketing or the presentation, it really revolves around the methodology of what we do and why we're doing it in Florida.
Okay.
It revolves around us as proficient investors ourselves. So as I said before, Walter has raised $125 million, deployed it, paid it back with 20% returns over the life of the loans, or the life of the assets. And then obviously my own career, I have over $1 million in private lender capital working in the market right now in other investments. So, it's not a startup, it's not a new company.
Right.
So, here's what's challenging, brother, is, the economy and the fear of capital, and we talk about this weekly, is out there. People are scared crazy about losing principal, that they're settling for really, really bad returns. The bond market, for example.
Right.
In the bond market, you can maybe equalize out at like a 3.5-4% return, but there's still inflation at 3%, 3.5%.
Do you think a lot of people are scared to make moves right now because they're waiting to see what happens with the virus, the vaccine, and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's their excuse, right? That's their excuse. Their excuse is I'm waiting to see. Yeah. Right. So it's okay to not be the aggressor, right? But it's not okay to just sit still and wait. And I hate to use this analogy, but it's the one that comes to my mind. It's been documented time and time and time again that in a mass shooting, for example, the people who freeze and hide, they also get shot. Yeah. They also get shot. And it's that deer in the headlights type mentality. Whereas if you got a guy like me or Walter, and to use that firefighter military analogy,
Yeah.
I never, if you're sitting still in a fire as a firefighter, then you're potentially going to die.
Well,
We
absolutely.
never stay still.
Right.
You're always moving. I remember taking new guys into fires, and I'm like, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. You're pushing them in the back.
Yeah.
And it's the same in a military scenario. You duck and cover, go, duck and cover, go. And I don't want to get too dramatic with it, but that's what's going on right now.
Right.
People are sitting still and trying to hold on to a pile of cash that's devaluing every single day. So, look, we show them, right? This is a vehicle in which you can get double-digit returns targeted. And it's also a vehicle in which you get massive tax shelter and tax upside potential. It's parking money in real estate. That's what you do. Putting your money in the real estate vault, and you could take it out in 6 years with some friends.
And that in comparison to what some people may be holding their funds in, antiquated, old-fashioned, antique vehicles such as CDs, savings accounts. I mean, literally, if someone's keeping their money in a CD or a savings account earning, if you're excited about 1%, you're losing money. You're losing money.
Yeah.
Just the fact of inflation. You're losing money just if you're excited about those two percentages.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you have to put your money in a vehicle that's going to crush the inflation, surpass it, right, and bring you additional income, additional revenue for money working for you.
Can I give you some love and a little bit of coaching, brother, that I've learned in the past 5 years of my career? Can I coach you live?
Of course, coach me live.
Watch this. I've been very cognizant about the words that I use when I talk about investing these days. And you just said, if you want to do this, you have to do this. Guess what? We don't have to do a damn thing, man.
That's true.
and my investors don't have to do anything.
That's true.
But here's the question. If you don't do something, what does that look like?
Ooh.
If it's not this, then what is it that you are going to do? Because I think we can all agree that doing nothing is the deflation of the dollar, is the worst case scenario, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So true.
I had one guy the other day want to put capital in, and I said no. I said you're not in the right place to invest in a fund like this, because expectations are not realistic, and it's just there was not the right personality with it. I gave up. Not telling people what to do or you have to do, because as soon as you tell somebody what they have to do, as well as I do, they say, kiss my rear end, I'll do whatever I want.
Yeah,
right?
true. Yeah.
And then we haven't serviced them, Nathan, right? Then we haven't helped them. At the end of every conversation, I still say this today, I want to make sure that when I leave a conveison or a relationship, I left that person in a better position than when I found them.
Yeah, that's very true.
Right?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah,
Always.
Yeah.
So look, look, dude, I get it. Sometimes I want to punch him square in the nose, and I'm like, are you really that stupid?
Yeah.
Are you really that stupid to think that an investment in the bond market is a good strategy? When when preferred rates of returns in real estate start at 6%, start at 6%.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But you can't fix stupid, man.
I know, it's so true. I actually just had this conversation the other day with a newer friend that I've met, a new acquaintance, and it was like about changing mindset and changing mindset and say, listen, man, I'm not in the business of changing mindsets. Right? I'm not in that business. I'm in the business to make a profit. You got your revenues, you got your profits, but that's it. You got to be in business to make profit, not to change mindsets. People have to, they have to feel the pain to move, right? They have to feel the pain of, losing money in the market, losing, the bond market going to trash right now. Right? There's a lot of things that are not going so well. And, that's the pain that has to help them to open their eyes, to see oh, there are better opportunities out there. This is what they are.
I had a guy who used to say, why are you trying to sell a hamburger to somebody when they're full?
True. Yeah. Right.
If the guy's not hungry, he's not going to eat the hamburger.
Exactly.
Right? So for us through education, especially in the finance world, for the doctors, lawyers, business owners, accredited investors, engineers, they tend to carry their own creed of expertise, and very very are very quick to not pay attention to the financial side of it. I read an article, and I'm going to butcher it and paraphrase it.
Okay.
It's nothing that you and I have looked at together.
Okay.
But Forbes did a little blurb on. Did you send that to me? No, sent that to me was my plasterer. His wife's a doctor.
Okay.
And it was an article that Forbes had done, and they had delved into some of the policy ideas around Joe Biden, and how the part of their plan, and they still haven't made it incredibly clear, but basically it's an idea to get into the 401ks, and instead of giving the tax deferments and the tax benefits in its current structure, they were looking to restructure it. And if you read the math on it, it really was quite scary to see what they want to do with retirement.
Oh, geez.
Basically, instead of having the deferral piece, they want to put their hands in the pocket on the way in and on the way out.
Oh, geez.
So the whole 401k system, is challenged. And think about it from two sides of the equation. Challenge for the investor, the guy or girl who puts money in a 401k with their company, but also it'll be a challenge for Wall Street because they can't sell it as much if it's not as
if it's not attractive.
Attractive,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
So I doubt it. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a guy, but I doubt if it'll get much traction. But those are the kinds of things that I'm just paying attention to and looking at.
Another thing that we've been paying attention to recently, and Black Knight just kind of released some information about the mortgages in forbearance. And I know that's been coming up quite a bit for homeowners. We talked about this previous shows, that there's a lot of people who are going to be exiting their homes.
Yeah.
And they're going somewhere.
Yeah, there was an article that came out today. It's a CNBC article, and the headline says, "Improvement in coronavirus mortgage bailout stalls as more borrowers struggle to make payments." Right? And what it started to do was it started to look at some of the data, and Black Knight, to your point, 3.9 million homeowners were in mortgage forbearance programs as of August the 25th, right? 7.4% of all active mortgages, and is unchanged from the week before. But what's happened is there's like a reduction. There's a reduction in borrowers, but an increase in lending. It's almost like it's wiped itself out, and yet we're still beginning to see them pushing these numbers off. Let me get a little more competent on this. More concerning is that close to 3/4 of those in forbearance have had their terms extended from the initial 3-month period. So what the analysts are saying is, these extensions are necessary because they still couldn't pay their mortgages after a break for 3 months.
Yeah.
How are they going to pay them after a break for
6 months?
Right.
Yeah. I've been saying this for a few months now. I said, even when I'm talking about real estate in general and where people are looking for opportunities, I say, listen, the housing market for single family houses, there's going to be a big influx, a new inventory of foreclosed homes. Where are those people going? They're going to multi-units. That just makes it more, they're going to apartments. That makes it more.
I mean, look, this is one of those things where you don't want to be right? Because this is this is the F word,
right? Yeah.
This is the F word, baby. Are you ready? Dave's going to drop the F bomb on you. Foreclosure. Yeah. Foreclosure, forbearance, and foreclosure. While new forbearance requests remain low, particularly for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac loans, the pace of exits, like people getting out of forbearance, right? The pace of exits from forbearance has declined for two straight weeks. So there's no fundamentals underneath it again. Borrowers in a government bailout are not required to remit payments immediately after exiting forbearance. Instead, those payments can be made when the loan is either deferred or the home is sold. So they're giving them arrearages on the back end of it. So again, they can't pay the bills. It doesn't
Right.
matter
Yeah.
what the front end of this stuff looks like.
Exactly.
And I got one more here. I got to throw this one out there. This was
Okay.
this one was from Politico. HUD, Housing Urban Development, to extend foreclosure ban protecting 1.8 million.
Ooh.
Right? Protecting 1.8 million people until 2021. So this putting it off, right? This consistent kicking the can down the road is really quite interesting, right? Right? Just look at it big picture. It scares me, brother. It scares me so bad to see so much lack of fundamentals in what's going on, and these numbers continue to keep on going in a direction that, for me, it says, I'm in the right place, right? HUD's move only covers FHA mortgages. It doesn't even cover those that are backed by Fannie and Freddie Mac.
That's true.
Thus, it involves far fewer homes than it did for the 4-month eviction moratorium that lapsed at the end of last month. The moratorium was included in the CARES Act, which itself applied to about, listen to this, a quarter of the nation's 44 million rental units. So not paying your rent, right? Landlords can no longer afford their properties. And that's the state of affairs, man. I mean, there's some big old challenges right there in front of us, and you can find the data. One would say you could find the data to support any side of the equation, but it's there, it's happening.
True.
We're getting inbound calls now for apartments for sale.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely increasing.
Brother.
That's so true. Yeah, that market is definitely increasing, and at the end of the day, people are always going to need a place to live. But we saw back in 2008, 2009 to 10. I mean, people were moving in apartments. They were building apartments. They started rebuilding apartments just to get people in them. Yeah. But yeah, that's where the demand's at. Goodness.
The transfer now of exodus out of the cities is increasing again as well.
True.
I'm paying attention to vacant apartments locally. It's still killing me. Just knowing that. Selling at the top dollar right now is still where it's at, right? The residential marketplace, and being able to get out of it. It's just interesting. It's just interesting to watch it.
I want to ask a question that for on behalf of some of our members before, right? Some of our audience that's asked before is, are you buying retail? Right? This has come up quite a few times. So I guess, are you buying retail, or how do you? What's that strategy? Are you paying full price for these properties? How do you get them? That kind of thing.
Yeah, they're great questions. No, I mean, that case study is exactly how we buy, and that's not retail. That didn't go out onto the open market. That came into our sphere through pre-established relationships. When you've been buying these multifamily assets in that geographic area for 15 plus 20 years. And closing, right, and underwriting and executing and turning the asset around and making it more valuable, you get that first phone call. So, no, there are people that are out there that are still buying retail in the commercial world, and God bless them. God bless them. The guys who are paying, retail in retail commercial, I know for a fact that they're not making any distributions now.
Right.
Like they're not paying their bills to their investors.
It's very true. They've retracted a lot of the distributions that's been going on in different bigger properties. They've definitely retracted, and I've seen letters from even some of my buddies where those are not coming back at any. They didn't set a date when the distributions are going to start up again. It was more like, we'll notify you when the distributions start up again, and that's just due to the situation,
Yeah. So no, I don't buy retail.
Yeah.
I don't buy retail. I'm not interested in retail. I can't service my investors at retail. I can't make my projected returns at retail. I buy based on the actual numbers of today. And if there's anybody out there that's still analyzing deals off of pro formas, then who am I? I ain't your daddy. Do whatever you want, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Dear God, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We're about to walk into the biggest transference of human beings moving from geographic areas.
That's very true. That's very true.
I
mean, I've seen constantly the stats from the biggest metropolitan cities. So we, from Boston to Miami to Dallas, right? We're talking about downtown areas. People are moving out of those areas. They're now moving out, and even New York, right? So they're moving out of those downtown penthouse condos, all that stuff. They're moving out to your type of properties where they're not so downtown. By the way, just out of curiosity, just throw some numbers out there. How far away would these properties be from a downtown area?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
If you pulled up a map of Florida, and you went to the Gulf Coast region of Florida, I'll show you what our hunting and picking
let me do that right
geographic is. So if you went into the Gulf Coast region of Florida, I don't know if you can pull up a map, you'll see Route 41 that runs up the Gulf Coast. And then to the right of that, you would have I-75. So if you went down to like Clearwater on the south of the Floridian Gulf Coast.
Okay.
And if you expand it out, I can't see your screen, so we're kind of just spitballing this, right?
Sure.
So you can see Route 41 that runs up the coast from Clearwater up the Gulf Coast, and then I-75 that runs up towards Orlando.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I see that.
So if you got a highlighter and you highlighted between those two routes, all the way up and down the coast, that's our hunting and picking area. That's where we do the majority of our business.
Okay.
Statistically, we've found that it just works better for us like that. It just allows us to be in a really good area. The proximity, if you will, for more dialed in data to those metropolitan areas is we want to be around metropolitan areas, of at least 250,000 or more. So that's the areas that we focus. That gives us a good data to dial into to know that it makes sense in those areas to take down these properties, Nate. So look, does that mean I wouldn't do one in another part of the country if the numbers were right? No, as long as I protect principal first, right? As long as I can protect the investors first, then we'll do the deal. But Florida is just. I know Mary Beth sometimes listens, but we're gonna be in Florida, baby. We're gonna be there sooner rather than later.
Wait, what does that mean? What are you doing? You're relocating?
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, I was surprised when I get home, hon. I just got to accept it all. Warm up that sushi. I'll be right there.
Are you tired of the cold weather? I mean, because man, you planted your feet down there in Massachusetts.
Yeah, no, I'm not. It's not. No, it's not the location. It just makes sense. I mean, how far a dollar can reach in Florida in comparison to Massachusetts is redonkulous.
Oh, very true. Very true.
You know that.
Yeah,
you know that.
Very true.
So, and that's where 90% of my business will be. And in the world of COVID, we don't have to hug bro it out anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can do all of that business in these environments.
Yeah, very
and
true.
it's interesting that's the way the world is right now. But it won't be like this forever.
Yeah.
And we will get back to it sooner rather than later. But I just Florida's where it's at, man. Florida's where it's at.
Yeah, and it makes you. I always say like real estate is a local business. That's a saying I always have. It's a local business, even though you can buy properties remotely, but real estate's always a local business. And there's nothing like when you're buying and taking down, bigger properties that and maybe working there one-on-one with people. You got to be around it. You got to be around it.
Yeah. Well, we got the teams to do that. I just want to drive by and wave.
Yeah. Just touch it. I just want to touch it. Yeah. But it is a great state. I mean, it's definitely a lot warmer for sure. But that's going to be great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff, Dave. This has been great. Definitely educational, and definitely gives some insight and for our audience to know what kind of properties that are in the portfolio.
Hey, let me ask you a question before we wrap this call up today.
Yeah.
The folks that listen and pay attention to us, I've got two topics that I want to throw out there.
Okay.
Because I can bring in some of my team members, and we could do like maybe a three-way call or a three-way show one week. Taxes. I could bring in somebody from my accounting team, and we could fire questions off on the tax advantages. And the other thing that we could also do is I could bring in the one of the representatives from the self-directed IRA company that we're affiliated with, who also does the infamous solo 401k, which is also a self-directed retirement vehicle. Okay. So if you threw a little survey out there, you know, not do it right now, but let the folks think about it, and we'll see what we can do to bring another expert on, because I know what I know, but I also know what I don't know. So I like to bring in the expert's expert. You know?
Absolutely. Well, anyone who's watching live or on the replay, if you're interested in one of those two topics, then let us know. Throw it in the comments, whatever is of interest to you, and then we'll work on making that happen in the very near future. One of the next shows.
Sounds like a plan. Awesome.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
All right.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, good stuff, man. All right. Well,
all right, cool.
Same time, same place next week. Dave, have yourself a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, brother. Right, enjoy those whales on Monday.
I will.
All right?
All right, man.
Don't get bit.
All right. See you, man. Take care.